Ba Hashem Yahweh Sabarakathum. My brothers, Yahweh Shamal Lathan, Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah, the sisters. Precinct officer of 5,000 Rakabe Israelite School at UPK. Start out of 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana. So we're gonna give it about 5 minutes just to allow time for brothers and sisters to get up in the class, and then your brother got some sharing to do, and we'll take it from there. So if you got any questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. Brothers ain't nothing but me and you in here, Rock. But if you got any questions, come on with it.
Probably, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no questions right now, but you know.
Most High in Christ, it ain't no sweat. All right.
It took about a minute for everything to pass over from here to my notifications.
You said what?
It took about a minute and some change for everything to come from once I pressed it to get notified.
God. So on that article that I sent you too, right? I don't know. You said it's not popping up on yours where it say what is that? Where it said like it redirects you once you get to the end of the article on Boston Globe, right?
No, what it does is it has a little drag point for me on my phone. But I know what you're talking about because I've seen it on here.
It says explore the full report here.
Yeah.
You got that?
Yeah, so
So we'll get that. We'll get that also. We'll read this one. You know what I mean? We drop that on them and then the transition. So I got all this. Boom. What else? Let me pull that up. Alright.
I'm getting no YouTube notifications yet.
Well, like it's not popping up on YouTube?
Oh, it's popped up. Oh, that's the Rhode Island.
It's a lot.
We might be still on that suspension.
No. Because I went live on Sunday. And it went to the Boston on YouTube. Unless they just recently flagged us.
No. It's up there. It's up there. Just take it forever. I ain't getting no notification.
Most High in Christ. All right.
Do we one more section?
No sweat. These are more scared. Right. And then I'm gonna come right about here. So we gonna spark it off.
Sir.
Are we good to go?
Count out on time.
All right. So, the subject matter for today is going to touch on black leadership and what's a righteous black leadership versus one that's unrighteous, right? So if I could, let me spark it off. We're gonna get straight into the business with this one. And let me get Jeremiah 23 and 25. As y'all know, right? You know, what was it, yesterday? Officially started Black History Month?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So 2 days ago, we officially started Black History Month. And with that, in the future coming weeks, you're gonna see a lot of so-called black leaders who society deems to be black leaders, brought to the forefront, right? And although these brothers may have had some type of genuine intention behind what they were doing for black people, it wasn't the solution, and we're going to get into it. All right? So you got that? Let me get that both, show.
Con out of one con. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 25. I have heard what the prophets said.
I have heard what the prophets said. Who heard what the prophets said? The Most High has heard what the prophets said. How does he hear what they say? The angels of the Most High give report to him. He heard what the prophet said. So he heard. What is a prophet? Salakia. What is a prophet, Ward?
A prophet is a teacher and a leader of our people.
A prophet, you right up in there. You know what I'm saying? A prophet is a servant of the Most High. A spokesman, if you will, that's supposed to be a representative of the Most High in the flesh, right? So the Lord said he heard what the prophet said. Now, what are some of these prophets? No, I'm asking you, what are some of these prophets? Let me get some titles for some of these prophets. Because they're servants of the Most High. So what's some titles for the servants of the Most High? Minister. Bishop. Priest. Leader. Teacher. You got it, man. You right up on it. Pastor, bishop, deacon. All of these are the titles, you know what I'm saying, that they tell you, don't let me say that too much, Priest. Since it's just me and you here. I'm trying not to say that too much. You know what I mean? But once again, read that one more time from the top, Bo Shaw, so I can just tie it all in together. All right.
I have heard what the prophets said.
So the Most High hears what these prophets have said. These so-called prophets, these bishops, these deacons, Martin Luther King Jr., Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, he heard what they said, what the prophets said. Go ahead.
That prophesied lies.
That what?
That prophesied lies.
What is a prophecy?
It's a teaching of the Most High's words.
A prophecy is a foretelling, meaning what? A foretelling is describing something before it happens. So like when we go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and we show you that slavery is in the Bible. Shalom, word, so we see that slavery is inside the Bible. Slavery was prophesied in the Bible. Before the transatlantic slave trade happened, it was prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. So prophecy is a foretelling of something that is to come, right? So what does he say? He heard what?
I heard what the prophet said. I prophesy lies in my name.
Prophesy lies in his name, right? So what does that mean?
That means they are lying on the Most High. They're blaspheming.
Based off of what prophecy means, how would you prophesy a lie, though?
Not telling the truth of what's forthcoming.
And how would you know that it's a lie?
It goes against the scriptures.
It goes against the scriptures. Let's see. It goes against the scriptures. You're right when you say that. But how would somebody know? Let's say you was listening to Creflo Dollar, you was listening to T.D. Jakes, Martin Luther King, and they had these prophecies that they communicating to the people. How would you determine whether that prophecy was accurate or if it was false, if it was a lie, if it was the truth or it was a lie? Go ahead.
It will never come to pass.
It will never come to pass. Now, y'all some soldiers up in here, man. I know y'all with it. So let me get a precept to prove it. I'm on with it.
Let me get that precept. If y'all know it online, let me get the precept that shows how you know that a prophecy is a lie. Salaki, let me put my phone on mute, Salaki. Everybody in the class, you know what I'm saying? If y'all got y'all phones, just put your phone on mute, Salaki. You got that?
I'm about to get it right now, so my phone is acting real slow.
All right, it ain't no sweat. Did anybody put it in the chat?
Nah, probably in the chat. I think I put it.
All right, no sweat. I'm going to just give it to you for time's sake. Let me get Deuteronomy 18 and start at 21. This is how you're going to know if a prophecy is a lie. Meaning what? Something that was supposed to come to pass from somebody that's supposed to be a servant of the Most High, that's supposed to be a prophet, right? If it come to pass or it don't. You got it? 18 and 21?
You said, what's it? Deuteronomy?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 18 and 21.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 21. And if thou say in thine
And
heart,
if thou, meaning if you, right? If you say in your what?
heart,
In your heart, what is your heart? Your heart is your mind. So if you say in your heart, meaning you have a question, you question yourself. Like, this ain't something that you verbalizing for everybody to hear. This is just something that you thinking about, right? Go ahead.
how shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken?
So how are we gonna know? So you sitting there, you thinking, right? And the thought pops into your mind as to how am I gonna know what word the Most High has spoken, right? Whether it come through Martin Luther King, whether it come through Creflo Dollar, whether it come through the ISUPK, or whoever you listening to that professes themselves to be a servant of the Most High, a prophet of the Most High, right? How will you know that? Go ahead. Now we about to give you the answer. Go ahead.
Verse 22. When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord.
When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord. So now, when you have somebody that's a servant of the Most High, and he's speaking on the Most High's behalf, right? Go ahead.
If the thing follow not.
If the thing what?
Follow not.
Meaning what? If it doesn't come to pass. If it doesn't follow up. If you can't follow up with what he said and see that what he said actually happened or didn't. Go ahead.
Thing follow not. Nor come to pass.
Nor come to pass, like I just said. Salaki, I got a little ahead of myself. You know what I mean? Slow me down if I could do that a little bit. You know what I mean? Salaki. Go ahead.
That is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken.
That is the thing which the Most High have not spoken. So now you know that that's not what the Lord said. Meaning what? That that's a lie. It's not the truth. So if you're speaking on the Most High's behalf, you have to say what the Most High said. You have to say something that's factual because the Lord ain't a lie. You know what I mean? Read that last part for me one more time, Mo Shaw. Try to put the crosshairs on that a little better. You know what I'm saying?
When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not,
if the thing follow not, go ahead.
Nor come to pass,
nor come to pass.
That is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken.
That is the thing which the Lord have not spoken. So now that's how you know. All right? So let's go back to Jeremiah 23, and I believe we was in 25. Right?
Jeremiah 23, verse 25.
God. I believe you was at the part where it says Salakia. Start in the middle of the verse.
Jeremiah chapter 23, mid-verse of 25. That I have dreamed.
Just go a little bit before that. That prophesy lies.
Prophesy lie in my name.
Right.
Saying.
That's how you. So we talked about how you know it's a lie, right? Now you have a basic understanding of what the prophecy is and how to determine whether the prophecy is true or false, right? Or the prophet is a man of the Lord or they're not, right? Go ahead. So this is what the prophet said. Go ahead.
I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
I have what?
I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
That little white girls and little white boys will come together and join hand in hand. What?
I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
Right? Now, how you know? Now, who is this talking about? Who's famous for saying these things? Martin Luther King is famous for saying that. Now, it says, I have dreamed, right? Martin Luther King surely said, I have a dream, right? He didn't say, I have dreamed, but this is the thing. This is how you able to make the direct correlation to Martin Luther King. How? Because of the repetition. Now, oftentimes when you giving speech, a leader gives speeches, right? Now, if somebody is a prophet of the Most High, if somebody's in a position of authority like that, then you're going to have to speak to the people. So when you give speeches, one of the tools that you can use that make your speech give it structure is to use repetition, right? And that's what Martin Luther King did with his I Have a Dream speech, right? He used the repetition. Repetition also does what? It provides emphasis directly to the audience that you're, focusing on. You know what I mean? So that way, and then you think about it, right? It's like if you hear a song on the radio, you might not even like that song, right? But you hear that song, you hear it enough, it's gonna stay inside your mind. Now you remember what was said. You see what I mean? Like that's you know what I mean? So that's how you know that's talking about Martin Luther King, because that's what he did. And his dream surely has stuck in the head of so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. All right? Go, is there any more on that?
Count out of one kind.
Let me see. Come on with it.
Verse 26.
Oh, no. I'm saying, all right, no sweat. Yeah, you too up. Go ahead.
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
Hold on, Salaki, where you at?
Verse 26.
One more time. Take it from the top for me one more time. Salaki.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 26. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
So how long are these dreams going to be in the heart, meaning in the mind of the prophets that prophesy lies? That tell you what? What are some things that Martin Luther King had a dream of? I just gave you one of them, but if you could give me what that was symbolic for. Integration, right? What's another thing?
Interracial relationships.
Interracial relationships, you dang right.
What else? Being able to be seen as an equal to all.
Equality, right? Freedom, right? Equality, freedom, interracial marriage, integration, right? All of these things. And what does it say about that? How long shall this be? How long shall this lie? Does it say one more time for me, Bubba Kashaw?
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
So how long are these lies, going to be in their hearts? Like you think about it, right? Now you think about during the time of Martin Luther King, how long has that been? You think about since we had the right to vote. You think about since we was considered, because it was a time where we wasn't even considered a people, right? So now we become citizens of the land. I believe it was the 14th Amendment or something like that, where they acknowledge us as citizens of the land or something like that. I'm not 100%. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's factual. You know what I mean? But y'all can check that joint out. But I know that, us gaining citizenship and being acknowledged as a people, that was something that we fought for. Like, that's a lie, because the Most High isn't about that. The Most High wants the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be in rulership. Now, you think about that, right? Now, what that's the reason why you know it's a lie is because how in the world are you fighting for citizenship when this land belonged to the Native Indians, right? What should the fight be against? It should be about getting these immigrants out of here. If you a Native Indian, you should look at anybody that's not indigenous to the land as an immigrant, because they surely call the Mexicans immigrants, do they not? Right? But why wouldn't we fight against that, right? And the Native Indians is our brothers. So, but go ahead.
Count out of one kind. Yes, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
They prophets of the deceit of their own heart. You know what I mean? And Rock, you hit it right on the money, because Martin Luther King, that was the deceit of his own heart. What he did was he didn't represent the Most High. He wasn't a spokesman for the Most High, right? He didn't communicate what the Lord wanted to be communicated. But what was he?
Deceit of his own
A prophet of what?
A prophet of deceit of their own heart.
He was a prophet of the deceit of his own heart, because it was one time where interracial marriage was unlawful, right? Like, you couldn't even look at a white woman, probably get your eyes plucked out. Let you whistle at a white woman, right? Come on with it. Mm-hmm.
That was the repercussions of Emmett Till.
That's what
White woman lied about him.
White woman lied. Well, the oppressor, Salaki. That oppressor lied on Emmett Till and said he whistled at her, correct? So, what happened to him because of that?
Brutal death.
Mutilated the brother. Something horrible, right? Brother gave up to ghosts, and they was still, destroying his body, right? That's terrible. But Martin Luther King, he had a lust to have lewd sex with the white woman. I mean, we talking about interracial marriage, right? And this, I'm just got to be specific. So that's what we talking about. But he had the lust, and he wanted to make the deceit of his own heart, right? The deceit of his own mind. He wanted to decide to make that the truth, right? Because he wanted to sleep with white women. Now interracial marriage should be lawful, right? Go ahead. I don't want to stay too long on that.
We can go further if you want to, sir.
Yeah, come on with it.
Count out of one kind. Verse 27.
No, wait. Did you finish 26?
Count out of one kind.
Go ahead.
Which deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his
Slow down a little bit. Bring it from the top. You know what I mean? Stop at the commas. Take a breather. You know what I mean? Rock had to let that thing out though. He was like, he wanted to let that thing fly though. Come on.
Which think to cause my people to forget my name by their
Which
dreams.
think to cause his people. Who the Most High people? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The Israelites. And what did they do?
With the Most High's name.
Now go ahead and read it.
Oh,
Which,
forget my name by their dreams.
and you forget the Most High's name by those dreams. Why? Because now you marching for integration, so you can sit on the same bus as the oppressor. You know what I mean? So you can go to the same schools as him. You can eat in the same public places, any public facilities. You can use the same toilet as him. You want to do that, and you forget the Most High. That the Most High isn't for that. He's not with none of that. You got a question? Or you want?
When it says forget my name by their dreams, is it fair to say forget like my rep by their dreams, because his name and rep are synonymous? The Most High rep is to be holy, a man of war, and so forth and so on.
Okay. I mean, his reputation, I wouldn't say the reputation. Like, you forget the Most High's name. Now let's say this, right? If the Most High is against interracial marriage, right? If the Most High is against integration, right? He's against homosexuality. He's against everything that they fighting for, right? Now, how are you gonna remember the Most High? Yeah, I mean, remember what he's against, but like, how would you remember the Most High though? Yeah, you know what I mean? That's how you gonna remember the Most High. But the dreams that they having, right? It's causing our people to stray away from the Most High. Like, I mean, you ain't even know. I didn't know the Most High's name before I came into the truth, right? I don't think you knew the Most High's real name before you came into the truth. Like, we don't even know who we serve, right? That's why I say the ox know of his owner that asks his master's crib, but my people do not consider. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even, by going off like that, we don't even know that we Israelites, right? That's one thing. Like, the whole mission for them is to fight for the love of the oppressor. When that's what we talking about. We talking about righteous black leadership and how that's not the solution to end our problems. But what is the solution, first and foremost, is understanding that our people have a common identity, which is us being the Israelites. You know what I mean? And then us understanding that we do have that common identity as being Israelites, then what? Now we can go back to serving the Most High. You know what I mean? We go back to serving the Lord, and now, you know, basically it's like, let me put it like this. I'm trying to see how I could get it to you. Dang, I had a point I wanted to drive it home for you with. But basically it's that in essence though, because, you know, once you know who you are, you can go back. Now we keeping the Most High's high holy days. We keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? And now we ain't fighting to join ourselves to the oppressor. You know what I mean? And because we joined ourselves to the oppressor is the reason that we in the condition right now. Oh, I know what I was about to tell you, right? So now this is what's so heavy. It said, let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel be no more. That was one thing that I wanted to, you know what I mean, wanted to bring up too, because you think about Egypt, right? When we was in Egypt and Pharaoh didn't want us to go serve the Most, he didn't want to let us go serve the Most High. You know what I mean? But you think about the time period that we in right now where we don't even know that we Israelites to serve the Most High. Now, how much more sore is the punishment going to be for America if the Israelites that was enslaved in Egypt knew they was Israelites and they just wanted to go into the wilderness and serve the Most High for what, 3 days it was? They wanted to go serve the Most High for 3 days. Here we are in America. You came together and said, let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel be no more. And now we out here inside of America and we don't know who we are as a people. We don't know the Most High at all. You know what I mean? And these, like we talking about right now, these so-called black leaders, these self-proclaimed prophets of the Most High, they play a major role in, you know, making sure that we never come back to the Most High. You know what I mean? But was there any more on that? Ain't no sweat. Let me see. I might have you drop down to. Oh yeah, go ahead. Read on.
Which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
Wait a minute, where you at?
In the 27,
23 and 27? Salaki, I know I'm going back a little too much. We'll tighten it up. Salaki, come on with it. Read that one more time for me from the top. So I'll make sure I went into a little spill there real quick. You know what I mean? Come back with it.
Top of 27. which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
Right. Which they tell every man to his neighbor. Right. Like, you could, I bet you if we go on the street and we ask, you know, about this, man, this is why I really want to make that thing happen, because, you know, I guarantee you we gonna get some of the answers that align with Martin Luther King's dream. That says that we should have equality, right? That says that, you know, we should have what was he talking about earlier with the laws, priest?
The laws earlier?
Yeah. Oh, of how we want to reform the laws, right? So you want to go and you want to reform the laws and all that stuff, right? But this is the problem with it, right? Is that basically you know, that's not profitable for us in any type of way, because first of all, you going to the man that is against you. This is like you going to an enemy. You going to your enemy, and instead of going to the enemy with your own constitution, right? You go to the enemy, and now you want him to change his constitution so now that it can include you in it. You know what I mean? It's okay for you to make the laws as long as some of them laws is good for me. You know what I mean? Like, instead of having your own constitution, when we do have our own constitution, and that's the law, statutes, and commandments in the scriptures, man. You know what I mean? You want to go and you want to fight for all these things, but when you doing that, what you're doing in return is you are automatically submitting yourself to that people when you do that. You know what I'm saying? Automatically submitting yourself when you do that, and all of our people are thinking like this. They have that common ideology that this is the way that things should be, right? And we all asleep because nobody can see what's really going on. Who's really awake? Who's really, I hear a lot of Negroes talking about they woke, man. That kills me. I hate when I hear that woke talk, man. Like, and it's sad though, because you can be so woke, but you still being the drug addict. You know what I mean? You could be so woke, but you still selling drugs to your people. Like, if you would have thought about it, like, dang, you know, they put drugs into our community to destroy us. So if you so woke, how you gonna sell the drugs? How you gonna even do the drugs? Because now you just accepting the defeat when you put that blunt to your mouth. You know what I mean? When you smoke that crack or you sell somebody crack, they put the crack there to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? But it's terrible, and because everybody believe in Martin Luther King's dream, that's why we in the position that we in. You know what I mean? And he's not the only one. Like, but, you know, everybody that come after him or that came up around with him around the same time, and they all pushing that same thing, that's the problem. You know what I mean? But was it any more on that, Salaki?
No more on that particular verse.
All right, go ahead. Read on. 28?
That the prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream.
So go ahead. We're going to let Martin Luther King, we're going to let him tell his dream. We're going to let everybody believe what they want to believe. Go ahead.
And he that hath my word.
And he that hath my word. Who has his word?
The men of eyes you beget.
The certified priests, the authentic priests and prophets of the Most High that prophesy. And when we do prophesy, it comes to pass. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Let him speak my word faithfully.
Let him speak my word faithfully. That's why we gotta be out there on them corners blazing. You know what I mean? Because we gotta kill these dreams that's inside of our people. Let them come up to us with that dream that you got something, priest? Yeah, come on with it.
I don't think I've ever heard a scripture from Martin Luther
I don't think.
King. I can't recall watching one video
God.
where I've heard at least one scripture
Exactly.
from Martin Luther King.
Exactly.
Just a side note.
And that's so heavy that he brought that out because he said he never heard one scripture from Martin Luther King. But this is the thing, right? Where else do you never hear any scriptures?
Christian church.
You never hear no scriptures in there, Chris. Things how you hit it right on the money, man. They don't never pull no scriptures on that Christian church, man. You know what I mean? That's why whenever we out on them street corners and we are blazing, we dropping the truth according to the Most High. We pulling the scriptures and we reading directly from the scriptures, breaking it down for them or what have you. And whenever they come up to us, they never pull a scripture. And when you ask them to pull the scripture, they fumbling or they go to their favorite one. And you know what that is. What is it? John 3:16. And what's John 3:16 about?
Loving everybody.
Loving everybody. That's as far as they concerned. It's about loving everyone, right? But we gonna speak the word faithfully. We gonna put in the work. We gonna keep going to camp. We gonna keep teaching the classes or what have you. And yeah, kind. I mean, we gonna speak the word faithfully. Drop down to 32.
Verse 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams.
The Most High is not with Martin Luther King. The Most High ain't with Creflo Dollar. He's not with your Christian pastor that you go into church every Sunday, jumping up and down, singing and dancing. You know what I mean? He's not inside of that Christian church that you're going to. Go ahead, Salakia.
Saith the Lord.
Save the Most High. This is what the Most High said. He's not with them. Go ahead.
And do tell them. And cause my people to err by their lies.
And they cause the Most High's people to err by their lies. Because you look at these prominent figures in Christianity and what have you, and although they telling lies, although they not men of the Most High, a great majority of our people still do follow them. And they listen to what they say. And the reason why the reason why we so destroyed mentally is because we go into that Christian church. You know what I mean? That's why we so destroyed. But go ahead.
Count out of one kind. And by their likeness, yet I sent them not.
Yet I sent them not. You know what I mean? The Most High didn't send Martin Luther King. The Most High didn't send Creflo Dollar. He ain't send Farrakhan. He ain't send none of these cats to you, man. Go ahead.
Nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all.
Therefore they shall not profit the people at all. Now this is what I want to know, right? I dare anybody to tell me how Martin Luther King's dream has profited you. And me and Rock surely know, right, that we about to show you otherwise. You know what I'm saying? You know we're about to go to, right? It has not profited you. Now, you went and you fought for them buses. Okay, that's cool. You fought to get on them buses. You fought to, have equal educational opportunities or what have you. All of that, right? But I dare anyone to tell me how it's profited you. Like, you think about it, and we're still in hell. 50 years later, half a century, what has changed? How have you profited? That's what I want to know, right? You're still at a social disadvantage. You're still at a social disadvantage. You're still at an economic disadvantage, right? All of that. You've been suppressed, right? So what I want to do to prove that. Was there any more in that scripture? Just so I could wrap that scripture up if there was, if that was it. Thus saith the Most High. So now we're going to pull an article real quick that I want Rock to read for you just to show you that integrating with this society has not been profitable to you, right? And this ain't just something that we saying, but these are documented facts that we have, and we going to drop it on you right now. All right? Come on with it.
From the Boston Globe on December 11, 2017.
Right.
That was no typo. The median net worth of black Bostonians really is $8.
So the median net worth for so-called black Bostonians is $8, right? Now, this is what we talking about is we trying to discover, because the fight was for what is it? Equal employment opportunities, right? So you were fighting for equal employment opportunities, and now we here 50 years later. 50 years later, after you done fought for equal employment opportunities and the right to vote or what have you, if I could just sidebar real quick, right? Salakia. If I could, just before you go into that, just to touch on another point where how, we was talking about how we go into the laws and they the ones that's the lawmakers, but now you go into this man that hates you. This man hates you. He doesn't want you to be a part of him. You fighting to be a part of him, and now you want to vote for him to be over you. Like I might not be just hitting it head. I might not be hitting it dead, man. But you want to fight. You want to fight for the right to vote, so you can vote for somebody that had you in the field picking his cotton. You know what I mean? For somebody that was cracking the whip on your back, who's now somebody that's running for office. But he ain't running for office for you. He's running for office for his people and trying to benefit them. And now you going and you want to vote for these same cats, man. Right? Like, that's, man, they don't have any sympathy for you. But I don't want to go too side. I don't want to go off too much. But if you got that, come on with it.
Khan Adawan Khan. The $8 detail in the Globe Spotlight series on race in Boston is not a typo.
Right. So this is no mistake. The net worth for income for black people is $8. Go ahead.
Khan Adawan Khan. The median net worth for
So like if I could, and the net worth meaning what? Your financial assets and non-financial assets, right? So non-financial being what? You might have a house, you might have a car, or something like that, and your financial talking about what? Your investments or money that you saved or what have you, right? So the net worth for black people is $8. Go ahead.
The median net worth for non-immigrant African-American households in the greater Boston region is $8.
Hey, break that down for me once, because you was breaking it down earlier.
Non-immigrant African-American people means anybody of that is not African.
Anyone that's not African.
Basically, from this report, it includes the so-called Hispanic brothers. It includes the so-called Caribbean brothers. It includes the so-called Haitian brothers. Anybody that's outside of that, like Nigerians,
right,
like Ethiopians.
So they making a clear distinction that there's, a difference between so-called African Americans and people that come from the continent that originated from the continent of Africa. Right? Africans like Nigerians, Moroccans, what have you, right? Saying that this is we not
dang, what I want to say. Basically, our disadvantages
Are not the same as theirs.
are not the same as theirs, right? Go ahead.
The Color of Wealth in Boston, a 2015 report by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston.
So this 2015, right? We only what? How many years from that? 5,
5.
right? 5
Duke-
years. It's 5 years ago, not too far off. Go ahead.
Duke University and the New School.
Now you
This-
skipped something.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead. Run it back just a little bit.
the Color of Wealth
Federal
in Boston.
Reserve. Federal Reserve.
Kind of read this one.
Oh, read it one more time. Slow.
Oh, kind. A 2015 report by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston.
So this is the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. This is where the report is coming from. Go ahead.
Duke University
Go ahead.
and the New School.
Right.
This spotlight 7-part series, which began Sunday, tackles the city's most vexing question. Does Boston deserve its racist reputation?
Is what?
Does Boston deserve its racist reputation?
Does Boston deserve its racist reputation? Let's find out.
And to answer just that question, the Globe Spotlight team analyzed data launched.
So now we about to answer the question, and we about to answer the question from data that was analyzed. Go ahead.
Globe Spotlight team analyzed data, launched surveys, and conducted hundreds of interviews. The Color of Wealth in Boston report, which is part of a 5-city study, included a wealth disparities among communities of color, was one piece of information that Spotlight examined.
Right. Go ahead.
Here are the ways and hows of the study according to researchers and the report itself. Researchers conducted phone interviews about the financial status of households in Boston,
So this is the method that they use to conduct the surveys. Go ahead.
households in Boston, Los Angeles, Miami, Tulsa, and Washington, D.C. The survey asked respondents about their assets, liabilities, financial resources, personal savings, and investment activities.
Right. So like we talked about the financial assets and the non-financial ones. That's what they was just breaking down right there. Go ahead.
Kind out of one kind. The House of Salakia, the cities were selected because their diversity allowed researchers to disaggregate disaggregate data among subgroups within broader racial categories. In Boston, the report said researchers focused on multi-generational African Americans, referred here as U.S. blacks,
Right.
Caribbean blacks,
Right.
including Haitians, Cape Verdeans, both black and white, Puerto Ricans, and Dominicans.
Right.
A total of 403 people were surveyed.
That's right.
The household median net worth was $247,500 for whites.
So hold up. You mean to tell me that the who ain't one say you can't say I'm saying it. So like
Oh,
read that last part
whoa. I
one
fall
time.
for that trap, sir.
Yeah, read that last part one more time.
The household median net worth was $247,500 for whites.
That's dang near $250,000. You know what I'm saying?
Household.
$250,000 is what the average white household has for their income, their annual income, right? and the annual income for black people is $8. Puerto Ricans around 3,000. Dominicans 0.
So you jumping ahead.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead. Salaki. Salaki, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna let the brother get it. I'm going a little ahead of it. You know what I mean?
$8 for U.S. blacks, the lowest of all 5 cities.
The lowest of all 5 cities conducted in this test. You know what I mean?
$12,000 for Caribbean blacks. $3,020 for Puerto Ricans, and 0 for Dominicans. That's not a typo either. The sample size for Cape Verdeans was too small to calculate net worth, the report said.
Yeah, so the Cape Verdeans weren't even included in this report. But who was included was blacks, Hispanics, Dominicans, West Indians, Haitians, all that, man. Go ahead, preach.
The problem with the Cape Verdean is that it's hard to calculate because they're too small of a group
Yeah.
compared to all the other, subgroups that they just mentioned.
Right.
And I think that's why they had issues calculating because Cape Verdean is just a bunch of small little islands.
Yeah.
And so the population is not even
Ain't even a factor. God. Good night. Yeah, I mean, we ain't say it, right? Yeah, it's a lot. But was there any more on that?
Khan Adawan Khan.
Come on with it.
A lot of people have the impression that the major way in which people amass wealth is through savings out of their income, said William A. Darity Jr., a professor of public.
So this is how people obtain wealth, right?
Khan.
They have a steady income, and with that, they take a percentage out, they put it to the side, they put it in their savings account, and over time that begins to grow, and now they got money built up. They got something, a large portion that they could probably pass down to their children for an inheritance, right? Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself again, but go ahead.
Slaki, might be having technical difficulties with your mic right now. It's still picking up on this one.
Okay.
But if you could wiggle your wire real quick.
It's not going on there. You don't see no.
Nah, I just dropped off the mixer, but I can continue reading.
like it's USB.
Yeah. God. I mean, it usually rock when I be getting it on my jump, but I don't know.
I don't know, just dropped off the mixer, but Slaki.
All right, no sweat. That's a while. But where was we at though?
Khan. Said William A. Darity Jr.
Wind it back just a little bit.
Khan Adawan Khan. A lot of people have the impression that the major way in which people amass wealth is.
Oh, I wanted to drive a point home too, right? Is that if you're making $250,000 on a yearly basis, surely you're gonna have something that you could put in your savings. But if you got $8, what in the world are you saving? You always behind. You're gonna be in debt, right? You're not gonna be able to save money if you're in debt, right? I might have jumped ahead again, Salaki. Go ahead though.
Khan Adawan Khan, Salaki. Wealth is through savings out of their income, said William A. Darity Jr., a professor of public policy at Duke University, who was one of the lead investigators of the study.
Right. Come on with it.
That's
If I may, right? The numbers are staggering between the different classes of the different races. But predominantly the quote unquote the superior race on the planet. Right? But what's funny about it is that if you actually figure out why they can still be, why they can still maintain the interest on something like a cap like 250,000. You think about it, right? If I got 250,000 in the bank, right, and I just let it sit there, right, even if I'm getting a 1% interest, every month I'm getting about $2,500 added on every month.
That's
2,500, right? Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Which is more than I believe almost all of them, except for I think you said one had 3,000.
Yeah, kind of Puerto Ricans.
Right? Even the interest alone, they make more than our median.
Right.
All the other groups.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. So like, it's a system where it's designed where like you can only like in certain banks you can only have a certain account with like minimum 5,000.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's say most of these people that have passed on their inheritance,
Yeah.
and they have some sort of savings, they're constantly making $1,000, $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 every month on top of that.
Right.
So they understand that system and how that works.
Right.
Compared to my measly $8.
That's right.
What's 1% of $8? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's 1% of 1,000? Even 1,000 ain't gonna get you much.
That's right.
Every month. So if you at that cap where you're over 100,000, you can constantly just keep making $1,500 or 1,000, depending on the interest, every month. More than a person makes monthly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Doing a minimum wage job.
Right.
So that's interesting. You bringing up those numbers.
That's right. But come on with it.
Kind out of one kind. That's not the case. Net worth, the report said, is determined by subtracting debt from assets. In this instance, both financial, saving and checking accounts, money market funds, government bonds, stocks, retirement accounts, business equity, and life insurance are tangible. Houses, vehicles, and other real estate assets were included.
Yeah.
The debts included were credit card balances, student installments and car loans, medical debt, and mortgages. All told, this means that U.S. blacks and Dominicans in Greater Boston owe almost as much as the combined value of what they own.
That's ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? And the whole point of why we come in here is to show you that Martin Luther King's dream has failed. Right? Because if his dream was a success, if it did come to pass, right? If that dream that he had was of the Most High, then you would have $250,000 in assets, just like your white counterparts, right? You wouldn't be at that disadvantage. You wouldn't have to fight for more jobs, right? Like, come on now, man. It's a different story, man. Like, listen, you go to them suburbs too, man. You'll be surprised. A lot of them cats, they inherited them homes. And then them Edomites, they don't probably start having kids till mad late in life. You know what I mean? So you gotta think about it. By the time this cat is like, what, 30? You know what I mean? Let's say his people start having them when they try to get it, like when they up in their mid-30s or something like that, and they want to have them kids. You think about that. You add 30 to 35, these people are already like 65. You know what I mean? So by the time this cat 30, 35, he done inherited a whole home. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Negroes ain't inherited no type of house. You know what I mean? I can't call on you no more because you're on Shamar Priest. Salakia. Salakia. Come on with it.
Count out of one count.
Oh, but that was it on that, right? I don't want to go too much more into that. I'm gonna fall up off that. But let's go to Jeremiah 29 and start at verse 8. All right.
Count out of one count. Jeremiah, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 28. For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, this captivity is long.
That's hold on. You in Jeremiah 29 and 8?
Oh, and 8.
Yeah,
I thought you said 28. Slack.
Okay.
Jeremiah 29 in verse 8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts.
For thus saith the Lord of hosts. What is the host? The hosts are armies. So thus saith the Most High are armies. As you know, the Most High has armies both celestial and terrestrial. Go ahead.
Count out of one count. The God of Israel.
The God of hold on, me down. Man, they want to kick us off YouTube, Greece. The God of the Caucasian, Salakia. The who?
The God of Israel.
The God of the people that contracted the coronavirus.
God of Israel.
Let me stop, man. Let me chill. Salakia. Read on. Salakia.
Count out of one count. Let not your prophets and your diviners.
Let not your prophets. So we told you what the prophets is. The prophets, they supposed to be what? Servants of the Most High, spokesmen for the Lord, representatives, right? And your what?
Diviners.
Diviners. Me and Rock was talking about this earlier. I'm starting to see this little trend too. Like every time I be on that Facebook joint, man, I see all these sisters on there, and they got these cards, you know what I mean, and they telling people's futures, and they shaking dice or bones or something like that, you know what I mean?
That's that hoodoo.
Yeah. He trying to get you free, Salaki. He said that's that hoodoo, Salaki. But you know what I'm saying? Don't let these cats what? Go ahead.
Salaki, sir. And your diviners that be in the midst of you.
That be in the midst of you. Go ahead.
Deceive you.
Deceive you, man. Don't let them lie to you, man. Go ahead.
Neither hearken to your dreams.
Don't listen to them dreams. Whatever them dreams you having, eject them out your mind. Go ahead.
Which ye cause to be dreamed.
Which he caused to be dreamed. Was there any more on that?
Verse 9.
Yeah, go ahead.
For they prophesied falsely unto you in my name.
Yeah, right? Meaning what? That Martin Luther King wasn't authorized to speak on the behalf of the Most High.
Okay.
Nor was he appointed to. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Count out of one count. I have not sent them, saith the Lord.
The Most High did not send him. He did not send him, Salakia, to be that official representative that we was talking about. That's pretty much it on that, though, right?
Count out of one count.
Probably gonna skip that. Skip me right down to. No. I'm probably gonna skip that too because I want to get into this. Go to Proverbs 14 and 12.
Slacker. So what you say again?
Proverbs 14 and 12.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
So now, you might have your own perception as to what you deem is right. You might think that we should come together with these people that made us pick their cotton. You might, you know what I mean? You might want to fight for interracial marriage. You might want to fight for the right to vote. You might want to fight for the right to sit on the front of that bus, right? There's a way that seemeth right. You think that these people should treat you as equals, right? It's a way that seemeth right unto a man. Go ahead.
Count out of one kind. But the end thereof are the ways of death.
But the end thereof are the ways of death. Now look at where we at. We out here in 2020, where it's absolutely normal for a black or Hispanic man to be murdered by the police for no apparent reason, right? You look at us, we dying in these streets, man. The end is death. Even when we was fighting for that, they was sicking the dogs on us, spraying us with water hoses. You know what I mean? Setting our houses on fire. Right? I read one joint where after it was set in stone that we were able to sit on the front of the bus, that they had snipers shoot up one of the buses that it was you know what I mean, that they was on. You know what I mean? Like you can try to join these people all you want, but the end result is always gonna be death. Because they showed you time and time again that they don't have any other intention but to destroy you. That's the only intention that they have for you. Show me where it's been otherwise. It's always for their personal gain. Even when it seemed like they're doing something right, it's always for their personal gain. And I had a brother tell me one time when he was like, well, what about the abolitionists? Right? And I'm like, you had those abolitionists, it wasn't for the benefit of black people, it was for their own political reasons. Because they all wanted the Union to be together. You know what I mean? That's why, what's that cat? What is it, Abraham Lincoln? He said, if I could have, basically paraphrased, he said, if I could have restored the Union with abolishing slavery or without it, I would have did it. You know what I mean? But the only way he thought that he could restore the Union was by abolishing slavery. I mean, it's always been for their own personal benefit. It's never been solely about you and about your well-being. Right?
Count on one count.
Come on with it.
That was it on that one.
Oh, that was it on that? Let me get Deuteronomy 13 and 15. Hey, you look at that, man. You look at well, I don't want to jump ahead. But you get that Deuteronomy 13 and 15 from me, but with y'all.
Count on one count. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 15. Thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword.
No, you ain't in Deuteronomy 13 and 15.
Deuteronomy 13 and 15. Count on one count.
Deuteronomy 13 and 15.
Thou shalt surely smite.
Go ahead.
The inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof, with the edge of the sword.
That's not what I wanted. Go to Salaki, go to Deuteronomy 18 and 20, bro, for sure.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 21.
No, 20.
Verse 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name.
This prophet that is supposed to speak on the Most High's behalf. In this case, we talk about Martin Luther King. Go ahead.
Which I have not commanded him to speak.
Meaning he didn't order him to speak. That's what a commandment is. Go ahead.
For that shall speak in the name of the other gods, even that prophet shall die.
Even that prophet shall what?
Die.
Even that prophet shall what?
Die.
That prophet shall die, man. The Most High, like Martin Luther King signed his death certificate. You know what I mean? When he went out there teaching that Christian garbage on the behalf of the Most High, man. You know what I mean? Let's go to Jeremiah 23 and start at verse 1.
So Jeremiah 23 and what, sir?
23 and 1.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors.
Woe means death or destruction. Be on to who?
The pastors.
Woe be on to the pastors. Go ahead.
That destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
You destroyed the sheep, man. Who are the sheep? Let me get a precept, man.
It's like the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Yeah, that's it. That's one. See if you can give me another one. That one's too easy for you, right?
It's like,
Yeah, that's why you need this right here too. I ain't gonna hold you. Look.
You know.
You need that.
Yeah, I ain't got one.
Trust me.
I ain't got one.
Just look up sheep, and you know what I mean.
Well,
But you right. The sheep is talking about the Israelites. So the Most High is going to destroy or cause death to fall upon these pastors that what?
scatter and destroy my sheep of my pasture.
Scatter and destroy us with their lies, man. You know what I mean? But let me see, man. I'm just running through these things. Let's now go ahead, read on.
Khan. Saith the Lord, therefore, thus saith the Lord, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away.
Right, like what we was talking about earlier when you had asked me that question. You know what I mean? You have scattered my flock and you have driven them away. Right? Led them in the wrong direction with his dream. You know what I mean? With that dream that he was talking about or what have you, man, that's not found inside of this in these scriptures. You know what I mean? But drop that. Let me get Isaiah 9 and 16.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err.
The leaders of this people cause them to error. Right? They cause them to error. Right? Meaning, we going off by following these leaders, man. We obviously not doing something. We obviously are not doing the right thing when the net worth for black families is $8, man.
God.
You know what I mean? We obviously are not doing the right thing. We obviously are not doing the right thing when black people making up 14% of the entire population and making up 80% of the entire prison population.
God.
Surely we are not doing something right. You know what I mean? We're not doing something right when we have sisters, like you causing these people to error. Like you got these sisters out here and they aborting black babies at a rate of 450,000 on a yearly basis. You cause my people to what? Right? They cause, these leaders cause our people to error, man. You got Negroes out here, and you know, you could walk down the street and you can see a man dressed like a woman. You know what I mean? You gotta double check now. You gotta make sure, you know what I mean? What they say is you gotta see baby pictures. You know what I mean?
Birth certificates.
Yeah, let me see your birth certificate, certificate. Let me see them baby pictures, because now homosexuality has been so accepted by society that, you know, you don't know who's a man and who's a goddamn woman. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. They cause our people to error. You know what I mean? That's why you got brothers out here running around in these streets, selling drugs to each other, shooting each other, all kind of things, man. That's just destructive to us as a people. You got to listen, man. And the problem is that none of them will ever take accountability for their actions. Like, one second. but none of them take accountability for what they like. If you putting yourself in that leadership role, if you sitting in the seat of the prophets, you know what I mean, you have to accept the responsibility that comes with it. If you putting yourself in a leadership position, you have to accept the responsibility that comes with it. Now, you know what I mean, you can't be a leader of black people, black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and then when a brother out there shooting and selling drugs, and you like, man, you talking about him, right? But maybe you need to evaluate yourself, because realistically, that brother should be looking up to you and following your leadership, right? You supposed to be giving that young brother the guidance. He's supposed to be following what you saying. You know what I mean? But these brothers in the street, they look at them Christians and they understand that, man, I can't be that joint is too soft for me. These brothers is warriors, man. And you're not going to tell them to love the police that's unlawfully searching them just because they walk to the corner store to get a bag of chips. You know what I mean? Patting them down, you look suspicious. You're not going to tell these brothers that's out here in these streets to love the same man, or we all supposed to love each other with the same man that's going to shoot you for selling CDs at a gas station, or choke you out for selling cigarettes on the corner. You know what I mean? Or shoot you while you in the car with your daughter in the back seat. You know what I mean? Because you have a registered firearm on your person, and you got the seatbelt on, like they did to Brother Philando Castile, man. You're not going to listen. You can't tell nobody, like anybody that's in their right mind is not going to accept that. You know what I mean? And then you think about the Most High. Why would the Lord accept that? Everybody think that the Most High is a just God. Well, if the Most High is a just God, then don't the people that have never received justice deserve to get justice from the Most High? Right? You know what I mean? But was any more on that?
Khan out of my Khan.
Go ahead.
And they that are led of them are destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They that led of them are destroyed. Come on with it, priest.
Got a precept.
Oh, come on with it.
Luke 6 and 39.
Come on with it. Let me get it.
Let me get there. Oh, for sure. Luke chapter 6, verse 39. And he spake a parable unto them.
Right.
Can the blind lead the blind?
Right.
Shall they not both fall into the ditch?
Right. Can the blind lead the blind? Meaning what? The leader, the blind leader, is the Christian pastor, is the bishop, is the deacon, you know what I mean? Is in your Muslim mosque. That's the blind leader. Right? That's the blind leader. You said, read it one more time, people. Sure.
And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind?
Can the blind lead the blind? Yeah, these brothers are, surely they blind. At least they know that they blind, man. You know what I mean? They out here living a lawless lifestyle. But you're supposed to be the one that's supposed to provide the answer for them. You're supposed to be the one that's supposed to give the solution. You know what I mean? You can't. That's a rhetorical question that's being posed right there. Can the blind lead the blind? You think it to yourself like, the answer is obvious. That's a rhetorical question. No, the blind can't lead the blind. How is somebody that can't see going to lead somebody else that can't see? You need somebody that got the vision, that got their eyes open, somebody that I hate to use the term. I don't think I'm going to use that term. It's a lot. Never mind. Yeah, I don't like that term, priest. You know what I'm going with that, right? I don't like that. So, but you need a brother that can see the wickedness that's going on in this kingdom. You know what I mean? That has the proper discernment. You know what I mean? Who can judge a matter righteously. Who can see according to what the Lord said, man. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Shall they not both fall into the ditch?
They both gonna fall into that ditch, man. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, okay, like you just think about all the evilness that goes on inside of the Christian church. You know what I mean? Like, they both gonna fall into a ditch, man. Like I done seen news articles where it be a cat that run up in the Christian church while the cat teaching with a firearm to put it on the pastor because he's sleeping with his rib. You know what I mean? Like, how you gonna lead somebody? You gonna fall. Listen, the blind gonna fall in the ditch. You gonna fall. Y'all both gonna fall in the ditch. Y'all both are going to be destroyed. You know what I mean? Because you in that Christian church, you teaching lies. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's gonna backfire on you because the judgment of the Lord is gonna reign true, man. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be in the Christian church sleeping with a brother's wife. You know what I mean? And then think that if he find out, ain't nothing gonna happen. You ain't gonna be up in there molesting little kids, you know what I mean? And then think once that child get older, you know what I mean, he don't come back, kill you or whoop your tail or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. And then surely everybody that's listening to you, because you telling them that the law is done away with. Listen, I don't know if I told y'all the story, man, but I went to a Christian church, man. Zai was a Haitian church. You know what I'm saying? There was a sister leading the congregation, you know what I mean? And the sister said, what you call? Jesus is so righteous, and he knows that keeping the law, like along the line, but he knows that keeping the laws is so hard, you know what I mean, that he died so we don't have to keep the law. And I'm like, God. But now this is the problem with that, right? When you tell the people that you're leading, like, you blind, because you think like that, you blind. You know what I mean? And then you know what she said after that, though? She looked at me, though, because I had on a Chucky Killer shirt. You know what I mean? She said, but you can't go out there and rob nobody or nothing like that. And I'm like, I was just broad looking at me talking about you can't go rob nobody. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, you can't say that, though. Because if the law is done away with, it's done away with. You know what I mean? But that's the problem, though. Y'all all gonna fall into the ditch because now you got everybody out there living a lawless lifestyle. You living a lawless lifestyle. The people that you leading, they go back and they live a lawless. They think so long as they pay them tithes on Sunday and they catch the Holy Ghost that everything gonna be solid. You know what I mean? But they can go back to their daily lives and they can go pump crack. They can go shoot people. Or what have you. I done seen some hardcore gangsters. Some brothers I tried to pass a flyer when I was trying to, you know what I mean? These is cats that, you know, brothers out here known to love and respect. You know what I mean? I tried to hand them a flyer talking about the truth. And it's, you know, I give it to them hardcore. I wasn't coming through soft or nothing like that. I dropped it on them like, you know what I mean? Like we just brothers in the street, you know what I mean? I dropped it on them like that. And then the next day, I see this cat coming out the Christian church, and he's walking with his grandma, and he's smiling. I'm like,
got the good news.
He supposed to be the gay, you know what I'm saying? But I know what he's about to go back and do. You know what I mean? He about to go hit that block. You know what I mean? I know but he walked out that Christian church with the biggest smile, and he didn't see me neither, because where I was standing, I was like behind some bushes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I was on that porch, and I was like behind the bushes, and I seen him just coming out. Like, I was like, dang, yo, he really coming out that Christian church smiling like that, man. You know what I mean? But I know what he about to go back through, man. He about to go spark a blizz. You know what I mean? Immediately. You know what I'm saying?
With a pork chop sandwich.
He about to eat it. Grandma about to whip up a fresh batch of pork chops. You understand?
With the gravy.
With the gravy, that's gonna be as much as he ain't gonna eat it yet. You know what I'm saying? He gonna spark the flesh first and then eat it. You know what I mean? But it's horrible. But everybody's going to be destroyed for that, man. The blind leading the blind, and both of you will be destroyed because nobody has the truth. You know what I mean? Inside that Christian church, or if you in that Christian church, period, you don't have the truth, and you're destroyed, and you're going to be destroyed if you continue to go to that Christian church or that Muslim mosque. Go ahead. Was that it?
That was it on that, sir.
All right, no sweat. Since we on there, let's go to Hosea 4:6.
Hosea. Slocky.
No, it ain't no sweat. When you got it.
Chapter 4, verse.
Zah, y'all don't know, man. I mean, not Zah, but y'all don't know, but Rock over there, he running a complete, wild style, high technical operation over there. You know what I'm saying? He got all kind of things popped up on that screen, man. He doing multiple things at once, man. You know what I mean? So bear with Rock. He might, he gonna get that scripture though. Come on with it.
What? Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Like here you are, you going up in these Christian churches and you trying to get some type of knowledge. You at a point in your life somewhere where you just like, man, I need to find out something. You know what I mean? I need to know is God real or something like that. You know what I mean? You go up in there and you just trying to get some type of truth. But, you destroyed once you go in that Christian. You think you destroyed before you went to that church. Once you go in there, oof, it's on. It's gonna be a whole hell of a lot harder to restore your mind back to its right estate. You know what I mean? Being in that Christian church. I had conversations with a sister too, man. And she was telling me how she had I initiated. I said, I bet you have a woman pastor in your church. You know what I mean? Because she was asking me questions about what I was doing and stuff, and I was like, I bet you have a woman pastor in your church. And she was like, yeah. She teaches every Sunday. She gave me. She was like, she teaches every this day and that day. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I know it. But I said, but check this out. You know what I mean? And then I pulled the scripture where it said that a woman is not permitted to teach. You know what I mean? And I showed it to her, and then we went back and forth on a few other things, and I just kept showing her in the scriptures where everything that her church was doing and saying was wrong. And she just kept going like this. Wow. And she kept looking at me like, like giving me big eyes like, I don't want to, I'm like, so, and then I asked her, I said, so are you still going to go to that Christian church? What she said, Rob? Yes. She's going to go to that Christian church. And I was like, so just out of curiosity, I said, can I just ask you, after I showed you in the Bible where everything that they're doing in there and saying in there is wrong, and you agreed that it's wrong, right? You agreed that everything was wrong that they was doing and I was showing you, and why are you gonna still go back there? You know what she said? She said, I just got to because I was at a real low point in my life. And, they got me through it. You know what I mean? And you know how they got her through it. Singing and dancing. All the praise songs, I don't even know them. I'm glad I don't, priest. You know what I'm saying? But good night.
I know a couple.
But yeah, man, that's why it's like we destroyed, man. And then you up in that Christian church, you just at a whole nother level. That's why our brother on the street got a better time coming up out that, because he in his mind, I know several brothers, myself included, you just tell you be like, well, I'm going to hell. So why am I going to church? You know what I mean? At least you can keep it real with yourself. You know what I mean? To some extent. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to hell, so I don't know why I'm going to church anymore. You know what I mean? But these Christians in this church, they just going in and, they think they doing something, but they really not. Was there any more on that?
No, that's it.
All right, let me get where it says, matter of fact, I might pull it for you real quick because it just popped into my mind. And the reason why...
there is more on it.
Yeah, come on with it.
We'll start from the top again.
All right.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
That's right.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge,
Yep.
I will also reject thee, that thou shalt that thou shalt be no priest to me.
Right. There ain't no priest to the Most High, man. Martin Luther King wasn't no priest to the Most High. None of these cats, none of these churches y'all going to attend, they not priests to the Most High. So like I'm trying to look for something else. But yeah, that's it, right?
A little more, sir.
Yeah, come on.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power,
Yeah, you forgot the Most High, man. You forgot the law of the Most High, man. You know what I mean? Or the Most High, your power. Like once again, when you serve the Most High, man, that's what gives you power. That's what makes you strong. When you're not serving the Most High, you weak. You don't have any strength. You know what I mean? Oh shit, Salaki. Yeah, but you don't have any strength. You become weak. You know what I mean? You got to come back to serving the Most High, and you know, first and foremost, you got to know who you are, man. That's why I said we in the ISUPK, we are providing the solution that is needed, the solution that your Christian pastor don't have, the solution that your bishop don't have, the solution that ain't in Martin Luther King's dream. The solution that we have is absolute. It's impenetrable. If I said that right. You know what I mean? Let me get Isaiah 1 and 3. Isaiah 1 and 3.
Isaiah.
It's bulletproof. What we doing is bulletproof, man. It can't be infiltrated by white supremacy. You know what I mean? Not in the slightest form, man. Like
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner,
that's right.
and the ass his master's crib.
Right.
But Israel doth not know.
That Israel do not know. So now, once again, the ox, the ass, you know what I mean? These are two animals that don't have a high intellect level. You know what I mean? They don't have a high intelligence level. Right? And yet and still, they know where their master's crib is at. Meaning what? They know who they belong to. Right? Go ahead.
But Israel doth not know.
But Israel don't know. Meaning what? You so-called black Hispanics and Native Indians, y'all don't know who you belong to. You don't know that you really belong to the Most High. Go ahead.
My people doth not consider.
My people, like we don't even consider it. Like here we are, you know, during the civil rights movement, you know what I mean? And all these, you know, all these other things, amidst all these other things where, you know, we trying to find a solution or what have you. And I can't get you, man. But some wanna.
I just want to say time check.
Where we at?
35.
35? The water. You know what I'm saying? Salakia though, the water. Now I'm gonna speed this up because I want to get Christ. All right. Christ was a real black leader and a revolutionary, but we're gonna get into that. But what was I not considered?
My people doth not consider.
We don't consider, you know what I mean? We don't consider who we are. We don't consider what our real identity is. You know what I mean? Like, we so focused on slavery, and that's what we think that, you know, we start as a people, but we go back to the beginnings of time. You know what I mean? Since Genesis, since the beginning. You know what I mean? We have an identity that we don't even consider. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't asking yourself, who am I? Right? Like, if you ever asked yourself, how many of y'all brothers in here? Let me just see. Have you ever asked yourself that question? Who am I? And then not in a way like, who am I? Like, what do I do and stuff like that? Well, like, you know, who am I? Like, where do I come from? Like, oh, you know what I mean? You ever asked yourself that question?
Probably once as a child.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You ask yourself that question, who am I? And then you gotta go back to the lineage. You start to think about it, you know what I mean? And you saying, damn, you know what I mean? Like if you could just, you know, understand common history and know what so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians went through, you ain't even gotta just know that you were Israelite off rip. But if you could start there and say, well, these are all names that the colonizers gave to these people, to my people. You know what I mean? And then you think about it, right? This is why that I love that scripture where it say the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Because it really makes you think about it. Like if you think about who's the only lost people in the earth. You know what I mean? And you think about that, and now you considering who you are. You know what I mean? You saying, dang, well, I know I'm not an African American. I know I'm not a savage, a native savage. You know what I mean? I know I'm not a loyal dog. You know what I mean? I know I'm not a port of riches, right? Who am I, really? If you could just start there, you can look at everybody else and you can see they know who they are. The Chinese know who they are. The so-called Caucasians, they know who they are. You know what I mean? You look at the East Indians, they know who they are. You look at the Arabs, they know who they are. He'll tell you they Ishmael in a second. You know what I mean? Everybody else knows who they are and who they descend from. But the only people that don't know and don't consider are the Israelites, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? When that's one of the most vital things in our reconstruction. You know what I mean? As a people. If you want to talk about, I got you, Chris. Hold your point 1 second. If you want to talk about what you call, what is that, man? When they do that thing, when they supposed to be dang.
DNA?
No. Not no DNA, man. They gonna go spooky on me now with the DNA. Don't tell them that, man. But but like if you even think about where you should start, if you're thinking about the starting point, what you have to first understand is that the starting point is the identity. You gotta consider that, you know what I mean? Don't worry about integration, don't worry about jobs, don't worry about none of this or that, you know what I mean? Because all of that is secondary. That's not on the top of the priority list when you're talking about fixing black and Hispanic people. You know what I mean? What's top on there is getting your identity and getting your heritage back. You know what I mean? Because of course you can't, you know what I mean? If we can't be unified, there's no way that we're going to be able to even be able to talk about having schools or businesses or anything like that. You know what I mean? We're not even going to be able to have these discussions. It's not going to work. Because how do I know? Because you got Benjamites that got stores right now. You got Puerto Ricans that own liquor stores right now. You know what I mean? And because you got that, is that solving the problem? Take all the Puerto Ricans that own liquor stores, or the Dominicans, Hispanic tribes, all of them that own liquor stores or what have you, or own some type of business front, right? You take all these people, and why are we still having to get, why is Donald Trump balling on the Puerto Ricans with, bounty napkins? You know what I mean? Donald Trump is still balling on the Puerto Ricans with bounty napkins, all them liquor stores and all them storefronts that you got. You know what I mean? Because that's not the solution. That's not the starting point. You know what I mean? What is the starting point is finding out who you are, and then finding out what your constitution is. You know what I mean? And gaining respect from these other nations. You know what I mean? Martin Luther King teach you to fight for the love of these other nations. And I, as Super Can, the Commander General Yohana, he teach us to fight for the respect of them. You know what I mean? We fight for the respect of the other nations. We don't want their love. You know what I mean? We gonna love each other. You know what I mean? But go ahead. Was there any more on that?
Any more on that? Oh, I just wanted to bring out a point on what you were saying.
Come on.
Salakia. We consider so little that we even say that it don't even matter.
Hmm?
We don't consider who we belong to. We don't consider our nationality. We don't consider our roots to the point that we even believe as a people that it don't even matter.
Yeah, we do. And we think it doesn't. Yeah, you're exactly right.
That's sad.
Like if like that's so heavy what you saying. Like we don't consider, like if you ask the average brother or sister, like who they are, you know what I'm saying, or what have you, they're not. It doesn't really mean anything to them. You know what I mean? And you know why it doesn't? Because of the oppression and the oppression that they under. Because the only thing they worrying about is I gotta get this money. You know what I mean? I gotta get to this bag, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all cool and all that, but I gotta eat. You know what I mean? That's the main part. Like they don't really care when, if they could just understand for a second that we talking about eating. You know what I mean? We are talking about getting to a bag. You know what I mean? You think you gonna get to a bag by flipping all this crack, you know what I mean? And what have you, and you think you're gonna come up in society. You're gonna end up in the penitentiary or you're gonna end up in a casket. You know what I mean? That's not what we talking about. And then a lot of brothers I've met that do that, a lot of the times what they'll tell you why they selling them drugs is why?
To feed their kids.
So the long-term goal.
Oh, the long-term goal?
Yeah.
So the kids can have an inheritance.
So they don't have to go through what I went through. Well, brother, do you know if you fail, which is a high probability, if you land up in that penitentiary, or you do land up dead in a box, it's going to be a high probability that they are going to have to go through what you went through. And you laid down an example as to what is to be done to change their condition. So now they're going to be more inclined to do that thing that you did. You know what I mean? Now, if you think about it, for 2 more minutes, damn, that's hard. Wow. Damn. On sight, I had about...
He feels our pain.
I had about 20 more of those things. I ain't gonna hold you that. I'm heated. I ain't gonna hold you. That's messed up, man. I just got into the flow, you know what I mean? All right, no sweat. But, dang. What was I saying? That just disappointed me. That disappointed me out there. Y'all be feeling that, right?
Yeah, we feel that.
Man.
We just got a bell to remind us.
Oh, man. So help me out. What was I saying, man? As all.
We was on My People Does Not Consider.
No, what was the last thing I said, if you remember?
Oh, I don't remember, sir.
Zai, you remember? So you about to rap? I remember where I was at. So what I'm saying is, right? Like you don't understand that if we just don't be so selfish, have some brotherhood. That's what come with the heritage. That's our culture, to have brotherhood. Now we know that we brothers. We have an identity. I know, you know what I'm saying? This is a Judite, that's a Levite, I'm an Ephraimite. We all brothers. You know what I mean? I ain't looking at it just being selfish. I wanted to get this one little last statement out, and then we go to the Oh man, the devil is at work. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, but what I was saying is, right? So, now if we stop being so selfish and we have some brotherhood, like in the UPK, that's where the phrase was coined, brotherhood is a weapon. Because now, you know what I mean, we working together now, right? Now you know this, right? Let's say you was trying to, you know what I mean, you had your little team in the world or something like that. The more brothers you got on your team, you're going to eat. Let's say we was trying to buy something. I'm going to just say something. We trying to buy something. You throw down this amount on it, he throw down that amount, we throw that. You ain't got to come out that much out your pocket now. You see what I'm saying? Because now we coming together. The brotherhood is taking its place. You know what I mean? Everybody throwing down on that thing. So let's say we all throwing down on the business now. You know what I mean?
Whereas it was you just trying to put up a whole 40, 50,000. Now you got a whole nation of brothers. Let's say you got 1,000 brothers, right? How much would each brother have to put down
What's the goal?
in order to get that $40,000 bill?
$40.
40?
You said 1,000 brothers?
Yeah.
The bill's 40,000, yeah.
So now